Welcome to the Beyond Sunday Morning podcast, where women of faith gather to talk about a life of love and service to Jesus Christ. I'm your host, Jenn. Our relationship with Jesus goes far beyond the tasks of a Sunday morning. So we wanted to create a space to have candid conversations with women who are following Christ every day and who could offer encouragements in faith, life, ministry, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us. Today, I am talking with Josie Ramirez. Josie is a dear friend, a faithful follower of Jesus, and a fellow ministry leader. Let's see how today's conversation takes us beyond Sunday morning. Welcome to the Beyond Sunday Morning podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are candidate number one?
I don't know. I'm guinea pig number one.
Guinea pig number one.
Yes.
And we have known each other for quite some time. And actually, we met because of the podcast sponsor, Karis Women.
We did. We met in a hotel, which sounds so seedy.
That sounds like that story should not be shared.
Right? But it's a great story.
For another time, maybe.
For another time. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It is.
But the idea of starting a podcast like this for women rooted in Christ, wanting to grow, wanting to serve, and hopefully having a space where we could have candid conversations about how to take our faith and our leadership and our ministry and all that we want to do and fulfill for Christ beyond just Sunday morning, not just the Sunday morning service, maybe even just the Sunday morning serving in ministry, but to see the whole of our lives committed to Christ and developing and to being able to encourage one another in that. So I know that that is your heart as well. And that is the heart of Karis Women, to connect and equip women to do that. So they so graciously sponsoring our time together. And we both serve with Karis Women. So we kind of have an in.
We do.
A little bit. We kind of call the shots on this too. So
a little bit, but we're open to all other things too.
It's open to everything.
It's open to everything.
But really good opportunity. So one of the things I wanted to pick your brain about.
Okay.
A lot of times we get together, you and I.
Yes.
Even though you're on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, when we're talking, so many times we have said, I wish we could record this.
It's true.
Because we're solving all the world's problems.
We really are. People need to hear what we have to say.
People really need to hear.
If for no other reason than to laugh at how ridiculous we are.
True. But we have solved a lot of the world's problems, and then it's lost into whatever, the netherworlds.
Absolutely.
So having a conversation and being able to share with others some of the tidbits of wisdom that you've gleaned, some of the insights that you have had, I wanted to ask about specifically your ministry at your church, the leadership cohort that you facilitate for Karis Women, and then your personal journey with Christ and how you live out your faith beyond Sunday morning. So your ministry, what you do, where you live, how you're involved.
Okay. All of the things. Okay. So there's so many things. And I completely agree with you, like in the fact that we say we solve the world's problems, but we really do find this niche between you and I where we can kind of encourage and anchor one another and to be able to continue to do ministry outside of Sunday morning, which is so absolutely necessary. And I think Karis Women does such a great job of that equipping and connecting portion. And so it's fun to be able to talk about that and share that with other people in hopes that they too would be encouraged and find some like-minded women.
And to have a community where someone can go, I get it, I've been there, I'm with you.
Absolutely. And that is so valuable to know you're not alone, especially in ministry. Whether you do that as a vocational role or you do that as a volunteer, it's so important to know that you're not alone. And so for me, we did meet, I don't even know how long ago, but we met in California, where I am from.
Mm-hmm.
I am born and raised in California, and I just probably in the last few years started to branch out into other states. And I think I'm trying to build a house next door to you so I could see you all the time.
It would make the podcast a lot easier.
It would make it so much easier. We could do it in our PJs. It would just be so fun. In the morning, we just woke up, and this is what we have for today. And so I'm a wife and a mom. I've been married actually for 30 years. I know. I know I don't look like it, but
You
it's
don't
true.
look a day over 30.
I know,
so.
I know. It's true. But no, we were betrothed at birth. And so yeah, we've been married for over 30 years. We have 3 kids, 29, 24, and 20. So they are all past that teenage into the kids into adulthood. But we're so grateful that they have been kind of our biggest ministry of how do we raise them well and how do we have them. If I served in the church and kind of lost my kids, it would have been worthless.
Yeah. Or if you
so,
served in the church and your kids grew up not wanting to serve in the church,
absolutely,
then you know you've maybe gotten off somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so keeping them focused, holding ministry really with an open hand with them, has been something that has really encouraged my heart as a mom. Watching them grow, and they're not perfect by any means. I'm definitely not perfect, and so, but the fact that
I just nodded. I nodded when you said you weren't perfect.
I
was
know,
like,
because
yeah,
it's true.
it's true.
It is true.
That part is.
I wish I were.
Me, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect.
No, nobody is.
We're not sharing those stories.
No, not today. That's for the behind the scenes, and you'll have to pay for that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. And so I serve at a church. I am just coming up on my 6th year on staff. My very first vocational role. So I've always been in as a volunteer. So for countless years as a volunteer, and for the past 6 years, I've been serving in full-time vocational ministry. I started off as a women's ministry director. And then I was promoted to adult ministry, which is so much fun because it's like all of them.
It started out half the church,
yes,
and then it grew to the whole church.
And so I've learned so many different things. And then I'm currently an interim children's ministry director.
Really, the whole church now.
Really, the whole church. Yeah.
Is there anything you don't run or anything?
I don't handle the custodians. Like they're on their own. They have their own director, but. Yeah, just all of the things. But it's really fun to see how really the entire church is so interconnected, from children all the way to seniors. Everything matters and everything hinges on each other.
Yeah.
And so if we do one thing well, but we kind of lack in another area, the church really feels that. And it really just reminds me of how Christ has made us to be one body. And how do we incorporate that and work together in that?
And I imagine your leadership role, having that varied experience, gives you that perspective of seeing where all the pieces fit together.
Absolutely.
And where maybe some of the things need refined or need zhuzhed a little bit and kind of moved around. So that's a rare opportunity in ministry to see multiple ministries across the church and have an impact there.
Yeah.
But it's really cool that that's been how God has put you on that path to have such a varied experience. You did make a face.
I did make a face. What? How did I make a face?
You made a face about your interim role.
Oh,
So would you say of women's, adult, or children's ministry, which is your heart favorite?
Oh.
Because I'm thinking it's not children's after the face you made.
So I love working with kids. For the simple reason that kids adore you. If you're a good time, like kids adore you like no one else, and they don't complain.
You get all the praise, all the applause every Sunday.
Their biggest complaint is like, I didn't like this candy. Like, could you bring M&Ms next time? Because Skittles isn't my favorite. And so it is definitely a different thing, but I'm having so much fun in children's ministry. I love women's ministry. I think that's where my heart is. I love hearing women's stories. I love coming alongside them and helping them grow and navigate. But I think I'm having the most fun with kids ministry. And just how do we, one of the biggest things I hear, so I have a lot of kids who know the Bible inside out. I think they know the stories better than I do. And so my weekly challenge is, can you walk away with something new?
Oh, fun.
Yes. And so that's been really exciting because it challenges me. Like, what am I going to teach you new about Noah and the ark and Jonah and the whale, which are like such typical Sunday school lessons.
You should roll that over into adult ministry.
Absolutely.
For all of the areas where we're like, I've done that class, I've done that study, I know that book. But can you walk away with something new? That's a heart posture.
It really is.
And looking forward to that. That's really cool. All right, that'll be my takeaway for the podcast. I'll write that down.
Okay, good.
As a challenge to myself. But one of the areas that you have also served, kind of touching all aspects of the church again and using your experience across the church is with the leadership cohort that Charis Women does. Tell us a little bit about that and what it is, who it's for, and maybe some of that experience there of how you're seeing women serving in various areas, what some of their needs are, and what some of the wins and victories are there.
Yeah, absolutely. Stepping into the leadership cohort was amazing. You started it and you did the first round, and how many?
And then
women,
I was like, there you
go, here you go. How many women did you have?
We had 8 in the first one,
and I think the second one we had.
Oh, you had 12.
I think we had 12, and this time around we have. Do we have 8 again?
Yeah,
I think we have 8 again.
Close to. And it goes for like a 9-month monthly meeting, coming together, women from all across the country to work on what their next step in their faith that God might have for them, what might look like.
Absolutely. And so we start typically in February. We go all the way through October, I believe. You get a weekly email from me. You get 2 hours, however you want to split that up of time, meeting with me, whether it's some women do 30 minutes for a fine tune. Think one of the best things is that it's women of all ages, and it's not women who are just in full-time ministry. It's volunteers. It's women who come to the table with a goal in mind. And sometimes the goal is really broad, and it's like, how do we bring that down? Because we can look at, like, I want to build a house. Okay, well, we got to start with a blueprint.
And we can dream way too big, and that next step can be elusive.
Absolutely. And so it's helping them really discover what is your goal? How are we going to achieve it? And what makes most sense for you? And so one of the things we always ask is, like, what's the next best step? And we've done things like we've had women write Bible studies. We've had women move across the country, and that was their goal. Their goal was like, how do I navigate a giant move? How do I relocate? How do I relocate emotionally, spiritually, and physically? Because there's a lot of logistics in that. We've had women who were like, I just really want to eat better, and I want to take care of my body as the temple of Christ. And so how do I do that? And so we really navigate all of those things. And one of the things, and you know this, we start off with the soul plate. And so we look at how are we built well balanced, both spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And we start there, and we really take a really good inventory. And that comes to mind over and over again, because we have to have that good litmus test.
Yeah. And we have to be reminded that we are an integrated person. And so if we're working on something in our physical life, the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the social, all affects that. If I'm working on a goal vocationally because of something I want to do in my career, all of those other spaces are going to play a part in how God is moving and refining and directing. So I love that we start with the soul plate. And I love that the goals and the things that the ladies are working on, it's always new. Because when you say, what's God doing in your life, and what does he have for you this next year that you might need to know, what are some of those next steps, and have a community of women that could encourage you and help you along, God is up to some really cool things.
Oh, my word.
All across the country, moving in different women's lives. And you get to be a small piece of that. Is really kind of fun and exciting. And I love this about, we call it the leadership cohort. And a lot of times the response is like, well, I'm not in leadership, quote unquote. But it's really even about self-leadership, influence, your sphere of influence, and what God has for you. You might not even realize the things that you're being called into and invited into that might not be formal leadership with a title, but it's about development and growth and stepping out of those comfort zones into something that the Lord might have for you. And I love that that is a message, that it isn't about just the people in the titles and, you know, the degrees, but what God could have for anyone.
Really, it truly is. So many of them are like, they work in their kids' schools, or they lead maybe a Bible study, or they're, like I told you, like they're just working on their own personal things. Maybe they're newly married and they have now an integrated family that they're trying to figure out. And so there's been a lot of really good things. And there's nothing more valuable than having a group of ladies that you walk with for 10 months who know you, who pray for you, who are sometimes outside of your circle. That is huge.
We could do a whole episode just on how important it is to have someone in your corner who isn't directly involved in
Yes.
every little facet of your life.
Absolutely.
So that they can have a perspective
Yep.
outside of things, wisdom outside of things, and not be so tangled and tethered into all of the things that sometimes we get
Absolutely.
so entangled by.
Absolutely.
That's worth it just there.
100%. I can't tell you how, first session, you know, people are just getting to know each other, but by like month 3, they're speaking into each other's lives. And it's so wonderful to be able to facilitate that. And I always just say, like, I'm your biggest cheerleader. Like, I'm just here to cheer you along and to see things that maybe you don't see for yourself, because we don't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
But when someone's outside of your circle, they see it so broadly and so intensely, what you're going through, because they're watching the growth.
And we don't know what we don't know.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that the ladies that are stepping into these waters are eager to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And they recognize that they need community, they need input, they need resourced, they need equipped. And so it's really cool that that's an opportunity for them to do that. So we love the leadership cohort. If I had to ask you, what are some of those qualities of leadership, maybe beyond the title?
Sure.
What are some of those qualities of leadership that really benefit women in the faith, women in the local church, that maybe we don't always think of? What would you say to a sister that is kind of in that more timid space of, I don't know, I'm not this, I can't do that, there's a little insecurity there, to kind of bolster up their faith and their service and involvement?
I think it's finding where your heart sings. Because we sometimes magnify, like, you're on stage and you do all of these things, and I can't do that.
Yep.
I can't play an instrument. And we always kind of come at it from the negative for ourselves of what we can't do. But what if we change the language there and say, what can we do? What do I do well? I make cakes really well. And so,
do you make cakes?
I don't make cakes really well.
This is new information.
I
to
Betty
me.
Crocker cakes. And only in the winter
you've
time.
Been holding out on me all this time.
I buy cakes really well.
Not you, but
not me,
someone out there.
Someone out there makes cakes
Call
really
us if
well.
You make cakes.
If you do, please send us one. We love chocolate. Just saying. But if you do something that to you may seem so trivial, to now have a cake that you send to encourage someone, that you said, hey, will you come over and taste this? I've tried a new recipe. And now you're building community. And so you're looking at what are your strengths. Like, we have a gal in this current cohort. She's the sweetest, has a secular job, super, super sweet gal. And her goal was to have lunch with people.
Oh, I love it.
And she's not even doing it the weekend. She's not doing it after work. She's doing it at lunchtime. How do I show up in my lunchroom and see who I work with? And I'm like, that's huge. Yeah. That's huge. She really understood, like, this is what I have. I have time. And I have 1 hour every day to eat lunch. So instead of going to sit in my car, I'm going to sit in the lunchroom.
So availability.
And that's easy. It costs us nothing, right? So coming at it from the, what do I have that I can use for the kingdom? Because the Lord has equipped us all differently. And while some of the things get seemingly higher priority, they really aren't. It's the people who are seeing their neighbor, who are seeing their mailman, who are available for what God has.
I hope people can hear that, that woman taking her lunch break to be intentional about finding someone to sit with, to eat with, to invite in. There's more gospel fruit there that can happen than pursuing something more formally because there's a platform or because there's an outlet. 100%. That available, faithful, what do I have in my hands? What's available to me? And that it's the Lord's. And believe it or not, that kind of, we call it eyes up, feet forward. We've used that phrase in our Parish Women's circles.
We've used that a lot.
Eyes up, feet forward. I am moving ahead, looking at Christ and what he has for me. And that there is the essence and the quality of what real leadership and initiative can look like in the church, for sure.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. We have a lady in our cohort who's in her 70s. And you
never too old, gotta keep going.
You really never are too old. And her biggest thing was, How do I come before the Lord? 70, okay, has known the Lord all this time. Every morning, I just want to come before the Lord before I get out of bed so the horses don't take over. And I'm like, that is so true. And so we're constantly learning. And she's such an example of we're always learning. What do we have? What do we do with it? And her big goal is, how do I end my life well?
Yeah, I love that.
How do I invest in my grandkids? How do I tell them all the stories? How do I put that together for them? And so it's this posture of continuous learning. How do I have my eyes up, feet forward, and I'm really watching what God has for me?
And it's important for women. I might be in a season of my life where I'm also just transitioning. Our kids, your kids are into adulthood now. I've got one in high school, two in college. Every season, every transition, every change really is a reworking and a reorienting. And part of that idea of even the soul plate, the complexity of being an integrated person, is what's changing, how is it impacting other things, and how is Christ at the center? Am I revolving these things around him and moving with him and walking with him in that? I have an opportunity. We're going to be heading to our national conference.
We are.
And I'm going to do a workshop on our individual relationships with Christ. Not just discipleship as a program, or, you know, all the ways that sometimes people can serve in the church or want to even, you know, disciple in their families and share the gospel with their kids, but speaking the gospel to ourselves and what is the health and the well-being of our relationship with Christ. That it's active, that it's real, that it's constant. So I want to ask every episode in some way or another to share some of that wisdom. What is your walk with Jesus looking like these days?
So I have found, especially over the last 6 years of working in a church, that I have to be extra intentional about my walk with Jesus, because I'm surrounded with his business all day, 40 hours a week. But that doesn't mean it's my business, right? Like I'm about his work, but I'm not sitting at his feet. And so I have to be really, really intentional about what that looks like for me personally. And so I currently am reading the book of James and doing a little devotional. And then I also, this is where you talked about seasons. So one of our cohort gals is writing a Bible study. And so it's on seasons. And
she can listen to this podcast.
I know, she can get a little plug. So I have the sample and I've been going through that. And it is just feeding my soul, because we do talk about transitions and seasons. And sometimes we're waiting for, I'll do it in the next season. I'll wait till my kids are out of the house. I'll wait till I have this different job. I'll wait till I do this thing. And for the cohort, so every Monday you get an email. Sometimes it's on Tuesdays. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes
it's a Monday email on a Tuesday.
It's a Monday email on a Tuesday. That happens every once in a while. But I love fresh starts and I love change and I love Mondays. And most people, Mondays get such a bad rap, but Mondays are a fresh start.
I do also love a good Monday.
I just feel like, okay, what am I going to tackle? Whatever I filled out this last week, it doesn't matter. What am I going to tackle today? And so
I love when a Monday corresponds with the first of the month.
Oh, yeah. Because then you're double.
That's like double.
That's a double fresh start. Absolutely. And so it's just such a good opportunity to be reminded of, like, Lord, I served you all day yesterday, and now the rest of the week. So how am I going to live for you and just be beyond so Sunday morning with you beyond Sunday morning?
Really interesting.
I know it just kind of ties into some things here. But yeah, how do I live for you beyond that? I sat and I worshiped, but what did I walk away with that's new, and how will you carry me through the week? And so I love that idea of, like, I did all of the things, but Monday it's you and me, and here we are.
So that invitation to ongoing relationship. That's one of the things I've been just kind of trying to change my language around how I speak about my relationship with the Lord. And instead of how's my relationship with the Lord being what I'm doing, or what I'm studying, or even what I'm praying for or about, to try to change it, much like with my relationship with my husband or my kids or with a friend. Like if someone came up to us and said, how's Josie?
Yep.
What's she up to?
Yep.
Right? I'm primed for that. I have information. I'm
Yep.
excited. I'm eager. There's actual relationship that I'm
Yep.
pulling off of. And then that same picture, how are things with the Lord? And it's like, like we're good. I mean, like he's great.
True, he's always great.
Super. I think I talked to him last Tuesday. I think we had, but instead of thinking like, what Monday morning, fresh start, it's you and me, Lord.
Yep.
What are we doing today?
Yep. Yep.
What do you have for us? And that we're in this together.
Yeah.
And so I want to be talking with you throughout the day. And when someone asks, I want to be able to communicate as, this is what Jesus and I are up to.
Yeah.
This is what he's teaching me. This is what we're talking about. One of the questions I'm going to ask at the workship is, what are you and Jesus arguing about?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because it's real relationship.
Yes.
Like a real relationship with our Lord and Savior. It's not just something that's distant that we do. And that can be a real challenge for women operating in a ministry area, or even caught up in the home, caught up in work, caught up in other relationships. But to be able to encourage one another that your walk with the Lord goes beyond Sunday morning. Yeah. But it's also a real relationship.
Absolutely.
So how we talk about that will actually impact the kind of relationship we walk in. Yeah. And if we have to look each other in the eye and say, what have you and Jesus been talking about lately? Like, what might he be a little irritated with if he was sitting right here, like, and we have that through the Spirit to be able to encourage one another, help support each other in Christ. And I think it can come full circle back to what you were saying before, even the importance of the cohort. You have to have other sisters around you that can be there to help and to build that up and to ask some of those questions and perspectives that maybe you wouldn't have.
Yep. And I think changing your mindset, I don't know about you, but I know like growing up, it was always like, spending time with Jesus looks like this, and it looks like this Bible study, and I have to be 30 minutes in prayer, and then I have to read the word for 30 minutes. And it just doesn't look like that for each of us. And I think
in every season.
Right? Like, it's just like my prayer time, my favorite time to pray is when I'm in my car, because I commute for 30 minutes. That is my prayer time on the way in and on the way home.
Your eyes open.
With my eyes open. I don't close my eyes. I'm paying attention. But it's that wrestling with the Lord. Like, God, I'm bringing these things before me, but what's yours? What do I want for myself? Because I'm being selfish. What do you want for me? And so, like, changing what that looks like and giving ourselves permission for it not to look exactly like my neighbors. Yeah. Not my best friend. It's going to look different, and that's okay.
Because each of us are in our own unique relationship. Yes. Our friendship is going to look different than our other friendships that we have with wonderful women. We bring something unique to the table, and Christ interacts with us each uniquely. Yes. And beautifully. Yes. And I think that there, in terms of an encouragement for the woman who's like, okay, but my life beyond Sunday morning doesn't look like that. Yeah. And my quiet time doesn't look like that. But what are you and Jesus up to? Absolutely. What is he doing in and through you? Yeah. What's that next step that you might take? And not to be a total plug for the leadership cohort entirely, but if something's really stirring in someone, that kind of community, that kind of next step might be appropriate for exploring in a more formalized way with some readings and some assignments and some encouragements every week to say, all right, Lord, what are you up to? What are we doing? Yeah. And being on board with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That accountability helps. And those readings and those things really bolster that kind of accountability.
Yeah. Thank you for serving in that capacity and sharing the variety of your experiences. If we had time to talk about how you got to where you are, maybe we'll save that for another episode. Yes. But the way the Lord crafts and brings together and works things out for good is also, though, the invitation to then pass that along.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you do that so well. Thank you for sitting with me and talking. We probably went longer than we were quote unquote supposed to, but
we always go longer than, because we only see each other in person like twice a year.
I know the person that is pushing the recording buttons right now is grateful that I am doing a wrap up at this moment. But But we could talk
We
on
could
and
talk
on
forever.
and continue to share things. And hopefully this podcast, this time, these episodes will
Yeah.
be a space where
Yeah.
not just you and I can continue
Yeah.
that conversation, but with other women, with other leaders, with other saints trying to
Yeah.
grow and walk with the Lord and transition that
Yep.
beyond just that Sunday morning experience,
Yeah.
and to really be able to encourage and bolster a community there. So thank you for
Absolutely.
that.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us for today's conversation, and a special thank you to our sponsor, Charis Women. Charis Women knows that the contributions of women go far beyond Sunday morning. Whether it's in the home, in the workplace, in the church, and to the ends of the earth, women matter to the mission of Christ. And Charis Women exist to connect and equip women who love and serve our Lord Jesus. Through women's conferences, training classes, community cohorts, and more. Check out all that Charis Women has to offer by visiting their website at www.chariswomen.com or email me directly at jav@chariswomen.com. We are so excited to see how the Lord works beyond Sunday morning. And we'll talk again soon.